Okay, so today we will be talking about user stories as part of your information systems class, and yeah, let's get into it. So it's week 7 already. We've just had our quiz one, and yeah, we are now going into the systems analysis part of um, your course. So for the more traditional waterfall method, it's usually the product for that we are looking at for requirements is the business requirement document, which is a very thick, very comprehensive and very tedious to prepare document. Wherein in Agile we have user stories. So a part of this business requirement document is usually the use case, which is mistaken to be something similar to a user stories in one way or another. They have similarities, but they are very different. So today we'll learn more about user stories, which is the primary requirement that we are using in Agile. Okay, so just a review, for waterfall, it's usually a long sequential process wherein from the requirements, you flow into the design, then you drop into the development, then testing and deploying. Wherein it usually takes about 12 months for development for this entire cycle, long cycle to take place. So agile, it's really more on short iterative cycles that are usually smaller in scope, but everything is done in typically 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maximum four, but typically it's just 2 to 3 weeks sprint. So within the sprint, you do requirements gathering, elicitation. Um, you also do the design, you develop, then you test and deploy, all in 2 to 3 weeks. Then after that, you do a review, then you do another cycle. So this is the traditional way of comparing water, the traditional versus the new one. I mean, it's the traditional comparison that we have been seeing, but let me show you another comparison that I can relate to my experience, having been working in the industry for quite a while, and having experienced waterfall and agile. This is the reality of things. In waterfall, typically, if you start a project by January, you see an outcome that might be not so good, shitty outcome by October or November, and you end up cleaning it. You end up cleaning it up um, the following year, like half of the following year, diba? So in my experience, it is how waterfall works. While in agile, well, bad agile actually results to the same banana or the banana after processing, di ba? It works similar, but you have a preview of what wrong will happen eventually. But that's bad agile. Real agile is like this. So you come up with something that is not perfect, you clean it up. Then you come up again with something that is not perfect, you clean it up. You don't let build up. Okay? You don't let it build up. So that is how agile should be. Okay? You don't you don't really I mean, you don't actually produce a perfect product the first time. This is very un-IE, but you don't do that, and it's just being realistic. It's not perfect, but it's something that is usable. It's something that you can start with. Then you correct, you iterate until it becomes a lot better than it was before. So you build, you clean up, you build, you clean up, you build, you clean up, until such time that you are able to finish up your backlog. So it's like that. Okay. So just a background on Agile Scrum. Scrum is actually the most one of the most famous uh, or most commonly used implementation of Agile. So here are the roles, artifacts, and ceremonies. I would just like to give everyone a background, since this will be useful in our succeeding discussion. So it typically starts with the inputs from top management, the strategic plan, the vision, the roadmaps that the strategic group, usually top management, from the board down to top management. So these are the executives, the team, the stakeholders. Of course, the users are also involved, but it needs to be a more holistic vision of where you want to go. So from there, it is translated to the product owner. So these are the roles, the ones that are the people here, the icons. The product owner, which is empowered to actually, this is a role in um, in Agile that loosely translates to the project sponsor in a typical um, waterfall project, diba? Or a project. Some of the responsibilities are with the project manager, parang ganun. But here in Agile Scrum, it's called the product owner. So it's the product owner that manages the backlog. The backlog contains features, stories, epics, and so on. Later, we will have more about that. Then from the backlog, you take a few things that are suitable for a specific sprint. So yun, para kumukuha sa backlog mo ng mga gagawin mo for that sprint. It will be worked on by the team, the development team, and it starts with a sprint planning meeting. Then it is broken down. The stories are broken down into tasks, and from there, you actually do this 1 to 4 week sprints. So it really depends on the organization and the nature of the project. There are a lot of factors. On the average, it's 3 to 4, max 2 to 3 rather, maximum of 4. So within the sprints, you have a scrum master that manages the day to day and does the daily stand up meeting or daily scrum as they call it every 24 hours. Uh, so sometimes it's not daily, but usually in the implementation, it's typically faster if it's done daily. You can align at the day, usually the start of the day and the end of the day. Then after that, after this sprint, this 1 to 4 week duration, you actually deliver and showcase your work. There's this sprint review or sprint showcase, or sometimes it's also called a demo. So you'll be hearing a lot of terms that can be used interchangeably in Agile because there's really no governing body and it really depends on the organization. But the sprint review, this demo or showcase actually is when you present to the stakeholders. Okay, your finished work. Then also there's this sprint retrospective, or it's sometimes called a lessons learned session, which is basically, as it is called, a lessons learned session, wherein you share lessons, what went well, what did not go well, and what can be done in the next sprint that will make things better. Yeah. So that's basically it. There are different ways to do it, but that's for another topic. Okay. So let's focus now on the user stories that are being prepared for the sprint. Diba? You need the stories for you to be able to start with your sprint. Yeah, diba? Okay. So where do user stories fit in? Okay. So as we have said, as we have shared a while ago, um, okay, there are actually different levels involved in different actors actually in the agile universe I would say. There are different actors here, and as you can see, the executives are. It starts really with the executives and in their alignment with the rest of the company, diba? The stakeholders, diba? These are all stakeholders actually. Diba? And before it translates to the team. So as we can see here, the vision and roadmap planning is typically done on an executive level, but it is cascaded down to the actual users and stakeholders, specific stakeholders. Diba? So of course, the vision, you know that the vision of the company, what does the company aspire to be? Strategic, it's a strategic plan, diba? And where and how to get there actually is you do a roadmap or part of that it starts with your mission, di ba? And you come up with a roadmap on how to get there. So in the roadmap, you define themes, epics, you define initiatives, ba? You define initiatives. In order for you, initiatives. In order for you to attain your vision, di ba? You need initiatives to attain your vision. And for those initiatives, you need to have more detailed plans for that, di ba? And that is where the user stories come in. In between here, before the release planning, wherein you actually lay it out, uh, the details of how you are going to get there, di ba? What can be done when, di ba? You determine in this release planning the user stories ideally. Ideally meaning it doesn't happen always. It doesn't happen always at this point. It can come later, it can come before, but ideally, the user story should be written, estimated, and prioritized prior to release planning. Okay. And from release planning, the next stage will be sprint planning, wherein the prepared user stories that are placed in the backlog, from that backlog, you select the stories appropriately and place them in specific sprints during your sprint planning. And of course, there's this daily planning or what we call, as we have seen in the previous slide, DSM or daily stand-up meetings, diba? Daily stand-up meetings, or it's sometimes called Scrum, daily Scrum. Okay, ba? So, what are these user stories actually? Again, user stories are part of epics. They are part of epics. So epics are actually a collection of stories basically. It's something bigger than stories. So for example, can relate it to Greek mythology, for example. Diba? Altogether, it's like one epic from mythology, di ba? Then there are actually uh, several stories in there that as a whole, collectively, it becomes an epic, di ba? Sometimes, we can also relate this to, yun, gawin natin practical, more practical. In terms of, for example, a lot of us are actually using GCash, for example. An epic there can be bills payment. Bills payment, diba? Bills payment. And there are user stories under bills payment using GCash. One of the user stories is, as a user, I would like to save my biller so that I will not have to input the details of my biller, diba? I would not have so that I would not have to re-input my credit card details, so that I would not have to re-input my um my Globe postpaid subscription details, account number, or so on. So it's like that. Okay. And this user stories actually go into this DSM board, or it's also called Scrum board or task board, as long as it's a board. Before, it actually is a physical board. The earlier implementation, especially during pandemic, I have experienced that also before pandemic, wherein you have a board, you have post-its, and these are the cards, the post-its, and you can transfer it to do to different kanbans or baskets, like to do, doing, in review, or done. Or sometimes it's as simple as to do, uh ongoing, WIP, and done, parang ganon. As long as there are segregation in terms of the steps, di ba? Okay, so there. uh so where does user stories come in? So what are user stories? So stories, uh, yun, called user stories, di ba? These are actually hyperlinks. So you can click to Altation yata to. It's the one who developed Jira. Jira is one of the most widely used project management tools in Agile. So you can click for more details. Okay. So stories or user stories are short requirements or requests written from the perspective of an end user. Okay. It's from the perspective of a user. It's not from a perspective of a developer, of a project manager, of the top executive, unless they are the user. Unless they are the end user, di ba? Kung sino mismo yung gumagamit nung system. Yun yung perspective. Okay? So, if you are writing a user story in terms of the user of an online banking app, for example, you are you are writing it from the perspective of a client. You are putting yourselves in the shoes of a client. You are no longer the business analyst or the developer or the project manager or the product owner of this one. You are putting yourself on the shoes of the end user. So your client, the bank client. What else? If you are doing an online shopping app like Shopee or Lazada, for example, you are taking the perspective of the end user, the one using the app to buy things. Diba? So these are user stories. And collectively, they can be uh, they can be a part of an epic, 'di ba? Yung user stories na yun. So epics are large bodies of work that can be broken down into a number of smaller tasks. So yun yung kaya siya may stories pa under that epic. So for example, yun nga, in GCash, there's bills payment. There can be specific stories like something related to biller enrollment or save biller, 'di ba? Something na pay bills na mismo, 'di ba? Which is your core story, for example, pay bills. Or there can also be a story related to something that uh halimbawa, pay bills without pay unregistered biller, 'di ba? Or something else, 'di ba? Frequent favorite billers, ganun, favorite billers. There can be stories related to that, which are all part of bills payment, di ba? So that's an epic. Bills payment is an epic. And there can be several stories related to that epic. Okay? So on a bigger scale, this can fall under initiatives. So for example, in that epic example of bills payment, there can be initiatives related to uh to the features in GCash, like payment features. So there can be bills payment, there can be prepaid load, for example, another epic QR payments, 'di ba? Payments related. So that initiative is payments initiative, 'di ba? Payments initiative. There can be several epics, and under this epics there can be several stories kay prepaid load, load yung smart load, load siyempre kasi GCash yun. Pero 'di ba pwede ka na mag-load in different different things from GCash, 'di ba? There can also be that QR, generate QR, pay via QR, 'di ba? So this can be different stories under this different epics, which is under an initiative. But further down the road, there's this strategic goal, which includes the vision or and the road correspondingly, the roadmap, which we have seen in the previous slide, di ba? All these initiatives should be aligned to this strategic goal. So for example, the strategic goal of GCash, which it is slowly but consistently attaining, is actually to be a super app, for example. I mean, they can have all the fancy words to describe that, but to be a super app, just like Grab, di ba? Mga ganun, ang dami na features sobra. So what are the initiatives, di ba? May mga payments initiatives, may mga partnerships, di ba? Like in G-Insure, for example, can be another initiative. Under G-Insure, there are different insurance platforms selling different things. For example, Singlife, Singapore Life, is actually selling COVID insurance, for example, which is patok na patok ng pandemic, ng kasagsagan, di ba? There's other another Epic wherein um there's I think si Insular Life, 'di ba? Selling traditional insurance products over GCash, 'di ba? There's also pet insurance even. Ay, si Malian yata yun, under GCash, 'di ba? So these are initiatives under the initiative for G-Insure. There can be other initiatives within GCash, 'di ba? Ang dami ng laman ni GCash. May investments din, investments initiatives. Pwede ka magpasok sa Atram, pwede ka magpasok sa BPI, 'di ba? There's also this GSave wherein you can save in CIMB, save in BPI, open an account through GCash. All part of the strategic goal of being a financial super app, 'di ba? So you see how it cascades up, 'di ba? From the user story. Yung user story medyo detailed. But there can also be much more detailed items pa, 'di ba? Like there can be tasks. If you want to track it, there can be tasks under a user story, 'di ba? But typically, yon okay na yung user stories. Mag-notes ka na lang dun sa user stories. As we will see later with the quick demo of Jira. Okay? So, what are user stories? User stories use everyday language and a simple structure to build a shared common understanding of the stakeholder needs. Okay? So, it's not very technical. It is very layman. So everybody understands it, even the non-technical members of your team. Ba? So it starts with who? It starts with as a user. Then you specify the what. I want to. Diba? As a user, I want to. Then the why. These are the three main elements of a user story. Who, what, and why. As a user, I want to, so that. So let's go back to our bills payment example. Diba? As a user, as a GCash user, I want to save my billers so that I do not have to input the account number again, for example. So these are things. This is the typical format of a user story. It can also be as a Lazada user, I want s- uh, to use my Laz wallet. I want to load na lang pala. I want to load my Laz wallet upon checkout so that I will not have to exit the checkout screen before I am able to check out, 'di ba? Ayaw mo pabalik-balik eh. So it's in-integrate na. Kulang yung ano mo, yung pera mo sa Lazada wallet mo, then pwede ka na mag-add, mag-top up ka agad. Para auto top up, ganun. Gulat ka na lang eh. Dire-diretso na check out na, 'di ba? So, user stories are in this format, 'di ba? User stories are in this format. Okay? So user stories are a tool to build common understanding, but they are not a replacement for a conversation. This is very important. In Agile, the conversations are important. User stories are just placeholders, kumbaga, for that conversation to start so that you will have an anchor for that conversation. What are we talking about? 'Di ba? What are we talking about? Why are we doing this? But the details there should be still conversations to actually drill down to the details, 'di ba? So user stories are stakeholder needs. So you describe the product or feature in a user stories. That's the what part of a user story, 'di ba? Uh, you also use the user story for planning, development, and testing since they are part of your task board, di ba? So you use it for planning, development, and testing, and you enable everyone to have a conversation. Kumbaga, conversation enabler lang. You don't expect all the details to be in there sa user story. Yun siguro yung malaking difference, di ba? For business, traditional business requirements document, everything needs to be there. For user stories, there needs to be a conversation, a corresponding conversation on the details of your story, how to get there, and so on. Diba? So, it enables a conversation and yun nga, you see it in a board. Now, it's a virtual board typically, but before, there's a physical board. Dati pumupunta talaga yung project sponsor namin, which is in my previous organization, CEO. Pumapasok siya dun sa room namin, sa scrum room, and tinitingnan niya yung board. And it starts a conversation. Bigla na lang siya makipag-usap to the team. And all the other stakeholders are doing the same, 'di ba? Pati sila legal. O ano to, 'di ba? So it starts a conversation. Okay? It doesn't replace that conversation, it only facilitates it. Okay. So user stories are not a replacement for a conversation to clarify ambiguity. Not a replacement for conversation to clarify ambiguity. So yung stories typically nagfo-focus nga siya sa what, 'di ba? And why. Yung how, it all should be based on a conversation or a documentation or any other interaction with with the stakeholders, with the team, and so on, diba? And user stories are not all that is required for development. It is a placeholder, pero yun nga, yung user stories kasi, pag nilagay na natin yan sa project tracking software, which we will shortly demo later, you can attach all the supporting documentations that you need, only the ones that you need. So unlike a business requirement document, which is very comprehensive, very lengthy, You typically, it's not very lean, di ba? Lean itong user story such that you only attach the things that you need. You only document what you absolutely need and you attach that to your story, di ba? So, business requirement documents are not the same as user stories. They can be somehow medyo related, di ba? Hindi hindi siya apples to apples to compare that user stories are BRDs, di ba? User stories are not, di ba? So, typically in Agile, you don't prepare a user story very lengthy. So, eventually, at the end of the project, at the end of the development, you complete something like a BRD, or in some cases, like in our case, we call it SRS, or software requirement specifications, which is a documentation of what has happened. You can start this at may time, di ba? During the project, but it will be a living document up until the project is delivered, di ba? Pag na-deliver na, yon, dun ka na mag-document. Kasi documented naman yan actually dun sa tool, whatever tool that you're using. Like Jira, Azure DevOps, Trello, um, may mga iba-iba pang tools na ginagamit, and it's there, and it's a matter of formatting it into a single document. So, ganun yung approach ni Agile, and ganun yung user stories. User stories are also not BRDs. Ba? Okay? Okay. So, what are user stories? Jira user story is actually a task. I would agree it is. Parang ganun na rin yun. Kumbaga. So here we have you have something that is shown here, which is a Jira board. There are there's a to-do list, tasks that are actually in progress, and those that are done. So I actually have in my class, we have a Jira board, a test Jira board. I have actually prepared one for them. So I'm sharing it to you now. So here is our Jira board. So I set up an environment. You can do this too. I know you can do it better probably than me. Then we have our buckets to do, in progress, and done. You can actually easily transfer, diba? Diba? If you transfer it to done, there's a green check, meaning it's done. If you actually found that it's actually still not done, you just transfer it into the in progress, diba? So what we can do is we can view this specific ticket or user story. You can have here the title of that user story. Then you can actually have here the formalities. It really depends on the project. But in one of my project, we do it this way. So it's not in Jira, but in Azure DevOps, but it's very, very similar. Diba? So as a user na lang, as a user, I would like to uh, define the existing shopping process, for example, so that the team can have a benchmark of its capability. This is just a sample, ba? I want to pala. I want to. Para pasimple na lang natin. I want to. Parang ganyan. Ganyan yung user story. Then, you can actually add, I don't have custom fields here, pero you can add custom fields. Acceptance criteria eventually. uh, swim lane diagram of existing process is completed. Diba? You can add that. You can add a child case or something that is related to this, diba? You can link it with uh, another page or another story, diba? Yan. Pwede ka ring magano ng blocker, duplication, and so on. There are a lot of features in Jira. And more importantly, you can add an attachment. For example, you have a recording of the conversation with the one doing that process. You can attach it here. You can attach any file here, ba? As needed. Okay? So these are the basics of Jira really. If you have to do, you can transfer it to in progress once it's being done. And you notice here there are actually names. So these are the people assigned to do this task, di ba? You can assign it if you're the project manager, or you can steal or grab it if if you have the access to do so from another person. You can grab it, 'di ba? And assign it to yourself, 'di ba? So this is how Jira works, and not just Jira. Typically all agile project management software does it this way. Similar yung workflow, okay? And so let's go back to our presentation, okay? Uh there. So the goal really is to build a shared understanding. You don't actually want to define everything in that story. It's just like a placeholder for the conversations that are ongoing, diba? At least you have a common understanding of what is being delivered, diba? And because it's in a board and it's being seen by everyone, whether virtual or a physical board, it's being seen by everyone, diba? So the best way to build a shared understanding is to talk to each other, ask questions. Of course, if you have the answers to those questions, you answer it for the ones that are asking. Diba? You draw pictures, use examples. So you aim to build a common understanding that includes the best ideas from the team, and you document to help remember, but not in place of building a common understanding, di ba? Yon, you document, pwede ka, as you can see dun sa, balik tayo, sorry. Uh, as you can see here, if you enter the case or the specific user story or task, you can actually comment and you can mention someone. For example, you want to mention the assignee, ba? And so on. You can do that and tag and magno-notify din sa kanya. May mga ganung integration if it has been set up that way, di ba? So yon, you can tag people, you can add notes. This is ongoing, for example. This is ongoing. Lalagay ka dyan. Or pwede ka maglagay, as discussed, over phone, and so on. You can always do that here in tools such as Jira, 'di ba? Okay? So that is typically how Agile goes. Okay? So, 'yon, kumbaga yung user story, at least you can make notes on the necessary card. Sometimes they call it task, they call it card, they call it whatever. Whatever you want to call it. Post it. 'Di ba? Basta 'yon, yung card na 'yon. Kumbaga. Okay? And also, so you are able to come up with your user stories now, 'di ba? You are able to come up with your user story. So what now? What's next? So you need to bring your story to a sprint. You prioritize the ones, and from there, eventually naman mapupunta sila sa sprint lahat, 'di ba? Kasi ganun 'yun. But you need to prioritize because remember that a sprint is usually just 2 to 3 weeks on the average. You cannot do all your stories all in one sprint. You need to prioritize based on the resources that you have. Diba? Maliit lang naman yung team. You cannot do everything. You're set up to fail if you do that. Kukunin ko lahat ng stories. Hindi mo madi-deliver lahat eh. Pumili ka lang. Yun yung, kaya ang hirap i-break nung waterfall and agile. 'Di ba? Lalo kung mga waterfall yung tao, yung management. Gusto nila lahat na nandyan, one time, big time. Hindi nga ganon. Pili ka lang ng priority. Hindi, lahat priority yan. Hindi pwede yon. You prioritize because it's just 2 to 3 weeks. Di ba? Later, di-deliver naman namin yung iba. Di ba? So, I can relate it uh, to make it more relatable, 'di ba? Pag when you are doing online shopping, pwede mong iiwan na muna sa backlog, 'di ba? Add to cart lang muna, 'di ba? Add to cart hanggang eventually i-check out mo or order na or buy now. May iba pa pang ano 'yan, no? Priority 'yan eh. Parang 'yan yung kumbaga, yung order now or buy now, 'yan yung ano, top na priority talaga siguro. Wherein yung checkout, yun, baka medyo ano, lalagyan mo na sa sprint 2, ganyan. Sa sprint 3 and so on. Pero ano pa, kumbaga hindi pa immediately, 'di ba? So gano'n, gano'n yung pag-prioritize ng user stories. So how do you actually prioritize user stories? Well, it's up to the PO actually or the product owner. Kasi siya yung nagde-decide talaga. Empowered siya to decide actually. Pero paano kung ikaw yung PO, 'di ba? There are different ways. Um, for example, in your succeeding subjects, eventually you will be taught Kepner-Trego decision analysis, which is very academic and very lengthy. I typically advocate for this one, DVF. Uh, it's in innovation projects. It's usually being done this way. Okay, so desirability, viability, and feasibility. You evaluate according to that. And what do you have here? But may langgam. That is the sweet spot. So yung nasa sweet spot, yan yung top priority na user stories mo. And this is not just applicable to user stories. This is applicable to when you are evaluating alternatives, when you are comparing things, di ba? Desirability, viability, and feasibility. Desirability, you answer, do they? Do they want this? Feasibility, viability, should we? Should we actually do this? Diba? And for feasibility, can we actually deliver this? Yun yung basic. So, a lot more detailed questions. There are a lot more detailed questions such as when evaluating desirability, do we actually need this? Diba? Do our users want this feature? Diba? Ano example niya? Minsan kasi hindi kita consider talaga yung users eh. Parang desirable siya, pwedeng okay, desirable siya dun sa management, but the end users, which actually represents that user story, do they really want it? For example, QR withdrawal. Why do you want to have a QR code for you to be able to withdraw from your ATM? Why? Hindi ko na sasabihin kung sinong bangko gumawa nun. But, di ba, desirability. Desirability. There needs to be demand, di ba, from your users. Viability, is it profitable? From the perspective naman ni business, di ba? Is it profitable? Or can we save costs on it? Okay? Kahit pa written sa user perspective, di ba? Kahit pa written from the user perspective. Or kung ikaw mismo yung user, edi ano, kumbaga, are you saving time from it? 'Di ba? Kasi may mga internal projects eh. 'Di ba? Then, in terms of feasibility, can this actually be implemented? Do you have the time and resources to be able to implement it? Is it within our timeline? Do we have the developers? Do we have the skill set? Or is it actually possible to implement this? Baka sabihin mo, gusto ko si ChatGPT. Siya na yung gagawa ng thesis ko. Hindi siya feasible eh. 'Di ba? Kaya bang sagutin ni ChatGPT yung panel mo, 'di ba? Kahit pa magawa niya yung thesis mo, 'di ba? Something like that. So, desirability, viability, and feasibility, if you all have them, then you prioritize that user story. Okay? Kung hindi naman, typically, score nila to eh. You can have it a scale of 1 to 5 or a scale of 1 to 10, depends on you. Okay? If you want to have it more quantitative. Pero typically in practice, we just agree with this in mind, 'di ba? We just agree with the team, the stakeholders. Yan. In practice, ganun yung nangyayari. Okay? Sprint planning. So ano tong sinatawag nating sprint planning? This is when from your backlog here, you actually have your user stories placed into the daily stand-up board or the scrum board and work on that within the sprint, 'di ba? Ba? So yon yung sprint planning. So it is a session at the start of each sprint. Yung sprint, yung sinasabi nating 2 to 3 weeks duration, typically, wherein the team makes a plan for the work they commit to deliver within the 2 to 3 weeks. So hindi mo dapat i-commit lahat. Ang advice ko dyan, under-commit, over-deliver. Pero yon, alam mo na naman eh kumbaga kung ano yung pace ng team, 'di ba? Usually rough start pa rin. Typically takes a few sprints before mag-stabilize, but yun, at least you can estimate what the team can do and you can place that into the current sprint, 'di ba? 'Di ba? Current sprint. So, you discuss the sprint goals and stories for this particular sprint. You develop a common understanding of the stories and you actually set up the board. Diba? Ito yung board na to. So why? Why do we need to have this sprint planning? Kasi it is where we commit to the stories na i-deliver natin as mentioned. You commit to it and you are expected to deliver it at the end of the 2 to 3 weeks, diba? So, you actually want to come to a shared understanding of the sprint goals as a team, and you want to build your confidence on the ability to really deliver the stories. And you want to give transparency on what the team is working on. Again, this sprint board is not just visible to the team, visible siya sa lahat ng stakeholders, di ba? So, there's transparency. Okay? There's transparency. So who participates in the sprint planning? Hindi naman lahat ng stakeholders kasi hindi kayo matatapos nun. So yung team members lang, yung development team typically and siguro yung business analyst representing the business, the product owner and your scrum master or project manager, 'di ba? Or agile coach. Iba-iba eh. Iba-iba yung terminologies but sometimes it's used interchangeably. And sometimes may distinction pa in some organizations. But iba-iba. Walang standard kasi talaga. Loose ang standard sa Agile. Kasi whatever works daw, whatever works for that organization. Diba? So yung Scrum Master, siya yung nagsasummarize ng outcomes and affirm yung commitment for that sprint. Okay? So here's a sample approach. You align on sprint goals. So the product owner introduces a sprint goal, the pieces of work, the pod, or sometimes it's called the team or the squad. Squad goals. Iba-iba tawag, but it's the same banana. Minsan turon lang, minsan minatamis na saging, minsan banana cue, but it's the same banana. Diba? You actually then refine each story until it's ready to work on. So it's small enough. So broken down siya into smaller stories if needed. Diba? Yun yung may child, parent-child na sinasabi natin kanina. May mga typically yung mga tracking system, tracking software na ginagamit like Jira, Azure DevOps, may mga ganung features to link each other, di ba? Then, clear enough ba siya? So, you clarify the acceptance criteria and define when the story is complete. Later, more on that. You discuss the potential obstacles or blockers, discuss the dependencies also. Diba? You summarize the outcome of the planning session. You affirm the commitment of the team members, and eventually you prepare your DSM or Scrum board or task board. Scrum task. Daming tawag, no? Nakakalito rin eh. Actually, ako rin, nalito ako niyan eh. Iba-iba, depende sa client. Sa dami ng client na nahawakan ko na rin. So, you do that. You typically have this status says to do. A minimum is to do, doing or WIP and done. Minsan merong in review. Yan. And a lot of other ano statuses that the team can agree on. Diba? So pod members or squad or team members select stories or tasks that they will own based on their role and experience and add them to the sprint board. Then Agile coach ensures the work is divided equally among the members of the team. Okay? Agile coach or pwedeng scrum master or pwedeng nalala ko yun eh. Mga scrum bag. Yun, scrum master and or pwedeng sometimes it's called the PM din, 'di ba? Iba-iba eh. So ano ba tong acceptance criteria? Kanina pa natin naririnig. So it is a set of predetermined requirements that must be met to mark a user story complete. Or in short, the definition of done. So it's when yun, game over or pwede siyang kapag tapos na yung na-reach mo na yung dulo ng stage sa Super Mario, 'di ba? Yung may tatalon ka sa pole. Ano ba tong Super Mario na naabutan ko? Medyo luma na yata. Pero yon, say end screen that you are able to do the task. It will mark the end of the task. Why do you actually need it? Halimbawa, doon sa doon sa example ulit natin ng bills payment and I would like to save my biller so that yon na-add ko siya sa favorites ko at hindi ko na siya kailangan i-input ulit yung credit card number ko. For example, pag magbabayad ako ng credit card using GCash, ayokong ulit-ulitin yun. Ang haba-haba nun eh, di ba? So ano yung acceptance criteria doon? Acceptance criteria for that particular requirement is I should be able to save the details of my biller and hindi ko siya kailangan i-enroll ulit, 'di ba? Or hindi ko siya kailangang i-input ulit yung account number for this different billers, 'di ba? 'Yon. Definition of done. And kailangan medyo specific ka dito. Why do you need this, 'di ba? So that you are able to manage expectations. Walang ambiguity. Ambiguous, 'di ba? Ang hirap nun, 'di ba? Kumbaga, define ng scope mo, nare-reduce yung ambiguity. And also, you establish a testing criteria for the QA. Or, pag tinetest mo na siya, ano yung hahanapin mo when you are testing it? So see, user stories are not just, it's connecting your user stories to the testing, di ba? Ito yung misnomer din. Eh, na? User stories are just the voice of the customer. No, it's not just that. It enables the process. It jumpstarts the process up until testing. Diba? So yon, that's the acceptance criteria. It connects your user stories to the testing and eventually to the end of the product. And ayun, ideally, the acceptance criteria should be defined as early as possible, even before the start of the sprint. During sprint planning, 'di ba? As mentioned earlier, dapat meron na rin nun. Sana. Ideally. Hindi palagi nangyayari, but ideally, there should be always an acceptance criteria ready even before the development starts, the sprint starts. Okay? And also, more importantly, an acceptance criteria will defend you against scope creep mid-sprint. Ano yung scope creep na sinasabi? Bigla na lang nagpapatagdag, 'di ba? Bigla na lang nagpatagdag na usapan, massive lang yung biller. Kailangan meron pang icon yung biller and kailangan pag sinave mo siya, may lumalabas na butterflies. Mga ganon, 'di ba? You can avoid that. You can avoid that by defining, basta na-save lang yung biller, hindi mo kailangan ng butterflies, di ba? Pwedeng, ano yan, nice to have yan later on, na hindi mo naman gagawin pala, no? Pero yun, ganun yun. So, what is the acceptance criteria? Yun, it's an indication na finish na. Game over na. Tapos na yung user story na to. Pwede na natin siyang ilipat sa done. Sa done bucket natin. Or sometimes it's called a Kanban. Di ba? Sometimes it's called a bucket. It's called, yun. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it bongbong. Di ba? Yuck. Anyway, that's the acceptance criteria. Natanggap ko na ba ng presidency bongbong? Well, medyo. Again, we are going back to this part. So, natapos na yung sprint. It's very important na after every sprint, you do a review, you present it, di ba? Natapos na yung mga stories. May story 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ka. For example, committed for that sprint. You finish it. It needs to be reviewed by the stakeholders. At the very least, yung project sponsor, di ba? Part nung nun is yun, kailangan mo siya i-showcase, di ba? Or i-demo, di ba? Ang fancy nung ano, no? Showcase. Di ba? Demo lang naman talaga siya kung ano yung natapos mo. Presentation, di ba? Parang progress report, parang ganon. Di ba? And of course, you list down what have you learned in that sprint so that from those learnings, you can make the succeeding sprints better. So you see here, parang may checkpoints, di ba? Iterative. So you don't expect to be perfect the first sprint, the second sprint. No one is perfect, but you get better as we go along. So, that is how Agile works. And siguro to end, you should invest in user stories. Invest. Each user story should be independent. So, story A and story B should not be identical. They can be related, but they should be not be identical. Kailangan may difference. It should be negotiable. Negotiable. O kala ko ba iniwasan natin yung scope creep. Negotiable. I mean within the team. For example, within the team, hindi kaya or ay biglang may emergency leave ako. Pwede ka ba mag-cover for me? Ganun. May ganung flexibility ang agile eh. Mas flexible kasi yung agile talaga kaysa waterfall. And ganun, tulungan lang talaga. Yun yung culture that we are trying to build in agile. Valuable. So, yun. The fact that it becomes part of a sprint, ibig sabihin na prioritize siya. So, in the viability part, di ba? Kumbaga, pumasa siya, di ba? So, it's valuable for everyone, di ba? Or at least the concerned. Estimable, pwede mo ma-estimate, it takes this number of hours, di ba? Or I need one sprint. Or it will extend to the next sprint. Pwede kasing ganon. At the onset, alam mo na hindi siya kaya dito, malaki lang talagang task, pero kailangan mo siya simulan, then you should be able to estimate that. It should be small enough, di ba? If it's not, sobrang laking story, hindi yung story, epic yun. Di ba? And it should be, of course, testable. May acceptance criteria. Ba? Okay? So that is what we have for this session. The acceptance criteria. You now know user stories. So it's game over and see you all again for next week's session. And thank you very much for watching this video. this recording. Bye.